This is breaking news.
Not only during UNGA, but all year round. And I know we all agree that this close coordination and the overlay of resources is absolutely crucial to our success. So I want to extend my deepest thanks to all of our terrific partners. You make this complex operation seamless. This time of year, New York City is on the global stage, and sharing in that spotlight is New York's finest. Our members, along with our dedicated colleagues, are the very best in the business, and our ability to handle security events of this size and scope is second to none. We are constantly planning and preparing. We monitor events around the world. We take everything into consideration. And that is how we deliver safety and security our global leaders expect when they come into New York City. Their job is to discuss the future of our world, and our job is to make sure they can do it without disruption. Finally, with all the motorcades, security checkpoints, street closures, and other travel restrictions that will be in effect over the next 2 weeks, I want to remind everyone that public transportation is the fastest and safest way to move around the city, especially if you're planning to be anywhere near the UN campus. And as always, if you see anything suspicious or if something feels off, do not hesitate to call 911 or tell a police officer. New York City is the safest big city in America, and that's because we are all working together to keep it that way. I will now turn it over to my good friend, Special Agent in charge of the U.S. Secret Service Field Office in New York, Patrick Freeney. Pat?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Patrick Freeney. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the New York Field Office for the United States Secret Service. For the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly, I have the distinct privilege of working alongside Commissioner Caban and the entire New York City Police Department. The General Assembly is one of the highest profile events in the world. It is also the largest protective event for the Secret Service each year. This year, we anticipate 151 heads of state and heads of government to attend, making this the most well-attended General Assembly since 2015. Since 2018, the General Assembly has been designated as a recurring national special security event by the Secretary of Homeland Security. The General Assembly is traditionally the largest national special security event due to the significance as well as the number of dignitaries in attendance. As a result, substantial federal, state, city, and regional resources have been dedicated to this massive gathering of world leaders. Preparation for this event is paramount and has been underway for several months. Our special agents and mission support teams have been surveying locations, working with our partners in public safety, and coordinating extensive logistics and security plans. Our primary purpose is to ensure the highest level of safety and security for the people of this great city and the visiting heads of state. Please understand that an event of this size will indeed impact residents and visitors alike. The goal of the Secret Service is to provide a secure environment while minimizing any inconveniences. We ask for your patience as increased traffic and additional security protocols can be expected throughout New York City. I would like to thank Commissioner Caban and the members of the New York City Police Department, Acting Special Agent in Charge Kelly Bishop of the New York Field Office for the Diplomatic Security Service, Director Michael Brown from the United Nations Safety and Security Service, and the countless others working tirelessly to plan this important event. This is truly a collaborative effort, and I am grateful for their continued partnership. I would now like to turn it over to Acting Special Agent in Charge, Kelly Bishop, Diplomatic Security Service.
Thank you, Patrick. Good morning. I'm Kelly Bishop, the Acting Special Agent in Charge of the New York Field Office for the U.S. Department of State Diplomatic Security Service. On behalf of the Diplomatic Security Service, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the NYPD, the United States Secret Service, the United Nations Department of Safety and Security, and all the federal, state, and local law enforcement, as well as our first responder partners. It is through our close collaboration and support that we have been able to create a safe environment for the 78th United Nations General Assembly. Our collective efforts aim to provide a secure platform to advance U.S. foreign policy and national security interests. To achieve this, the Diplomatic Security Service has approximately 1,200 individuals on the ground, including assistance from the United States Marshal Service and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, whose presence has further strengthened our protective security operations. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Brown, the Chief, Security and Safety Service at the United Nations Headquarters. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, and good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Brown. I'm the Chief of the UN Security and Safety Service. Our 300-strong service is in advanced stages of preparations for the 78th UN General Assembly. In undertaking these preparations and in executing next week's security operation, we do so in close collaboration with our partners at federal, state and city level, and we are most grateful to these agencies for the critical support which is provided to the United Nations. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to Commissioner Caban for the outstanding support which NYPD provides to the UN Security and Safety Service, not alone, as the Commissioner pointed out, during the UN General Assembly, but throughout the entire year. Thank you, sir, for inviting me to join you this morning, and I very much appreciate being here. Now I'd like to hand over to Chief Michael Pilecki of NYPD.
Morning, everyone. I'm Deputy Chief Michael Pilecki of the NYPD's Transportation Bureau. The mission of the Transportation Bureau during UNGA will be to prevent gridlock, move traffic, and enhance the safety of all road users. Commencing Monday morning, there will be several hundred police officers and traffic agents assigned to intersection control posts in Midtown, from 34th Street to 65th Street, from 1st Avenue to 7th Avenue. These officers will be assigned on both our AM and PM platoons. There will be dedicated cone lanes established in the area to facilitate the movement of both emergency vehicles and high-profile dignitary escorts. They will be in place on 57th and 42nd Street from 5th Avenue to 1st Avenue, and on 2nd Avenue from 57th Street to 41st Street. These emergency lanes will be in place daily from 7 a.m. until the day's session concludes. Regarding road closures, the upper portion of 1st Avenue from 42nd Street to 47th Street will be closed. However, the 1st Avenue underpass will remain open with truck restrictions and occasional intermittent temporary closures. There will be a bike lane established in the westernmost tube. 42nd Street will be closed from 2nd Avenue to 1st Avenue, 38th Street from Lex to 3rd, 48th and 49th Street from Park to Lex, 50th and 51st Street from Madison to Park, 58th Street from 6th to 7th, and 6-1 and 6-2 Street, Madison to Park. There will also be stepped-up enforcement in the Midtown area regarding illegally parked vehicles, particularly those that obstruct traffic lanes. These vehicles will be summoned and towed to facilitate the movement of vehicles and enhance safety. The bottom line is this: if you can expect to see heavier than normal traffic in Midtown next week, we recommend that you take public transportation if you can, or avoid the area altogether if possible. Thank you and stay safe.
For the Commissioner, you mentioned that your goal is to allow these folks to conduct their business without disruption. It was also the goal ahead of the U.S. Open, and we did see a demonstration there where it took 45 or 50 minutes to resume activity, peaceful protest, but nonetheless it was a disruption. I'm wondering, to what degree is that type of disruption on your radar screen right now?
So any type of disruption within New York City is always on our radar. I have our Chief of Intelligence, John Hart, here with us today, who can speak about any specific threats.
You know, as we always say for these, there's no specific credible threat to this. Protest is part of the New York City, scenery. It's something we handle every day. So we'll do our very best to keep it from affecting the UN in any way.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for doing this. Commissioner, or for anybody, are there any particular heads of state that you're going to be paying attention to? Is it Netanyahu because of what's going on in Israel that would expect the most protest? Is it general, for climate? Anything in particular that you're going to be watching?
There are several heads of state that we refer to as high threat, and both, to them and to the landscape in general. So we look very closely at many, and but we're in a position where we feel like the preparation and the partnership will resolve any of that.
Can you be specific about the?
No, sir.
I didn't think.
Yeah.
Julia Papa, 1010 wins.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. Regarding traffic management, is there any type of signage that's going to be out there for motorists or, drivers or bicyclists to sort of detour them so that they know in advance what streets are going to be closed? Usually that's where the backups are. Nobody knows. All of a sudden there's a barricade.
Yeah, there'll be variable message signs deployed throughout the Midtown area, in addition to utilizing our social media, and we'll be getting the messages out that way.
Any other questions? Going back over to Andrew Sitt from NBC.
Just for the commissioner, you're pretty new in the top job. This is a pretty big task. Do you feel pressure heading into the United Nations General Assembly?
Thank you for that question, Andrew. Been with the department for 32 years, no pressure at all. As I always like to say, we never do anything alone. We're here with our federal, state, and city partners. I want to thank them. Collectively, New York City will be safe this weekend.
Last one for Aaron Katerski.
Thank you, Tony. Anyone want to say a word about just the climate of political violence that exists in the world and that could shine here? I know that's something of a concern globally. Is that a concern here?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
Just the climate of political violence that we've seen around the world and now maybe shifts here as a focal point. Does that raise any alarms?
It's a concern, but I think that this is the mission of the UN, is to try and stamp that down, to mitigate that, and we follow that mission and we try and do it here. So we're always looking at all of those countries, and as Pat Freeney said, we have 151 heads of state, but we have about another 50 motorcades of people. So we have a lot of people to be concerned about, and we look at all of those countries, every single one, not just high threat countries.